Hello everyone, my dear students, I welcome all of you to my session on function overloading. Guys, this is the 8th chapter that you have, so it's a very important and simple chapter. So let's start. So guys, let me start with the blueprint first. So in this chapter, so guys, I need 3 hours to complete this chapter according to the PU prescribed board. You will get one 5 marks question. So in total, the weightage of this chapter is 5 marks. So my dear students, so you will get one 5 marks question from this chapter. So you'll not have 1 marks question, 2 marks question or 3 marks question from this chapter. That is what you need to observe in this concept. Okay, moving on. Guys, I have bird's eye view. What is this bird's eye view, sir? Bird's eye view in the sense, my dear students, what is the concepts that I will discuss in this chapter is what I will call it as a bird's eye view. I will be discussing 3 concepts. The first one is function overloading. What is the first concept? Function overloading. The second concept that I have, inline function. And the last concept that I have, friend function, my dear students. You need to observe one thing. I'm just dealing with functions in this chapter. That is what you need to understand. So, my dear students, how many concepts are we studying in this chapter? 3. So, what is the first one? Function overloading. Second one, can you just repeat along with me? Second one, inline functions. And the third one is friend functions, my dear students. Let me start with the first one, that is function overloading. Now, need for the function overloading is the first topic that I'm starting with. Before that, let me tell you what is function overloading. Before understanding the concept of function overloading, I would like to give you a simple example. Imagine I have a classroom. In that classroom, I have 60 students. Imagine 4 students is having the same name. Let us imagine all the 4 students have got the name as Raju. What is the name of the students? Raju. So let us imagine I have 4 students whose name is Raju. Now I want to call the student who is sitting in the second bench. But imagine I will call Raju, can you stand up? So what will happen now? All the 4 students will stand up in the class. So how do I avoid this confusion? Can you tell me? How do I avoid this confusion? So whose mistake is this? So it's my mistake because I have said, Raju, can you stand up? So this statement is creating the ambiguity. Ambiguity in the sense what? Confusion, because all of these 4 students' name is Raju. So it is not their mistake. So how do I solve this problem? Now, to solve this problem, what will I do? So I will call the student with the initial. So what I'll do? Raju K, can you stand up? So again, there is a problem for me. 2 students have got the same initial. What do I do now? So to solve this problem, what I will do is, I will call with the father name. So Raju Kumar, can you please stand up? So if I call like this, particularly, that particular student will stand up. So remember, my dear students, I have one class. Inside the class, I have many students. I am comparing this many students to the functions. One student is treated as one function. So in this situation, so I have many students whose name is same. I will repeat, one class with same name, multiple students. So remember this example. So let me come back to the concept of function overloading. Let me tell you the definition of function overloading for all of you now. If a class is having more than one function with the same name, that is what I will call it as a function overloading. I will repeat, if a class is having more than one function with the same name, that is what I will call it as a function overloading. Sir, we are not understanding the definition. Can you just write and show? Yes. Let's take an example to understand this concept. Listen, everybody. I'm just writing class. Okay, so the class name is ABC. What is the name of the class? ABC. So here I'm just writing, so public access specifier. What is that I'm writing? Public access specifier. So here I'm just writing int A comma B. So I have 2 variables. How many variables I have? 2 variables. Then after that, imagine I have a function void display. What is the function that I have? Display. So my dear students, display is the name of the function that you need to observe. Okay, so I have display function. So I'm not writing anything inside that as of now. Okay, so I have one more function. Let us imagine even that function name is also display. Even that name is also display. I will close the class. Even that function name is also display. Can you tell me how many display I have? This is display number 1. This is display number 2. So this is also function. This is also function. My dear students, I have two functions with the same name inside one class. Inside one class. That is what you need to observe. That is what you need to observe. This is what we call it as a function overloading. This is what we call it as a function overloading. I will be explaining in detail about this concept with the program. So before that, let us understand why do I need this function overloading. Let's start with the need of function overloading, my dear students. So what is the need of function overloading is what we are trying to understand. What is the first point that I have? Code is executed very fast. So if I'm using a concept of function overloading, the execution of the program is little faster when compared to other concepts. That is the first point that you should remember. What is the second one that I have? So it is easier to understand the flow of information and debug. So my dear students, it is very simple and easier to understand the information flow and the process of debug if I am using the concept of function overloading. The next important point is code maintenance is very easy. If I want to change anything, if I want to update anything, if I want to add anything, if I want to delete anything, so my dear students, it is very easy because I'm maintaining the flow, I'm maintaining the order, I'm maintaining the dependency. So properly if I'm using the concept of function overloading. So that's why the maintenance of the code is very easy if I'm using the concept of function overloading. What is the next concept that I have? Last point that I have. So guys, easier interface between program and the real world object. Suppose if I have the program and I have the real world object. Suppose if I want to write the program for the real world entities, real world problems. If I'm using the concept called function overloading, writing a program for the real world entities, real world problems, it will be very easy. That is what they are trying to explain with this point. That is what you need to understand. Let us understand with the program. So how this function overloading is working. What is exactly the function overloading? What I should know with respect to the function overloading with the program. Let's take a look. My dear students, I have the program for all of you which will demonstrate the concept of function overloading, Let me start with the first point. So guys, I have taken the first two lines as my header that you all know that #include iostream.h and #include conio.h. My dear students, this is my library files, that is header files, which I have stored all my predefined functions. If I want to access any predefined functions, I should have these header files. Without that, it is very difficult. So that is why I have these two header files. So that is the first point that you should remember. What is the next one that you should remember? My dear students, I'm using the keyword called class. What is that I'm using? I'm using a keyword called class. If I use a keyword called class, you need to understand I'm trying to create the class. So if I'm trying to create the class, obviously the class should have the name. So what is the name that I have given? Yes, very good. Fun overload is the name of the class. What is the name of the class? Fun overload is the name of the class. Yes, I have given the name also. Then after that, I'm opening the flower bracket here. So inside this class, what is that I have given? Yes. So guys, I have given public. So what is this public? So public is the access specifier that I am using. So remember, whenever you are using any access specifier, so you should end with a colon. So guys, I am using the public access specifier. So what is the meaning of public access specifier? The meaning of the public access specifier is whatever you are writing inside the public access specifier, you can access even outside the class. So that is what you need to understand, my dear students. So I have public access specifier. After that, what is that I have? So guys, I have int. I have int. You need to pay attention here, my dear students. So I have int. So before this int, I want to tell you something else. So guys, what is the syntax? What is the syntax to write a function? First point that you should know is, first thing, I should write return type. What is that I should write? I should write return type. Then after that, followed by the return type, I have to write the name. I have to write the name of the function. I have to write the name of the function. Then after that, you will have the parameters list. After that, you will have the parameter list. Then you will have the function body. You will have the function body. So this is the common syntax, general syntax if I want to write the function. Come back to the program now. So what do you call this int as? My dear students, this int is a return type of this function. This int is a return type of this function. Int returns a value. Int is a return type. Int is a return type of this particular function. Can you tell me what is this volume? Volume is the name of this function. This is what you need to remember now. This is what you need to remember now. What is this volume? Volume is a name of this function. Volume is the name of this function, my dear students. Then after that, I have a parameter. After that, I have a parameter. How many parameter I have? I have one parameter. How many parameter I have? I have one parameter of what type? I have one parameter of type integer. I have one parameter of type integer. So now listen carefully. I have one function. The name of the function is volume, and I have one parameter of type integer. So what is that I'm trying to calculate here? So guys, I'm trying to calculate the cube. I'm trying to calculate the area of cube. I'm trying to calculate the area of cube. So a into a into a. So that is what I'm trying to calculate. My dear students, I'm trying to calculate the cube. Yes, it will return the value. Okay, so a cube value will be returned. So this is the concept of this first function that I have. This is the concept of first function that I have. So remember this. So the name of the function is volume. Number of parameters that I'm passing is 1. Okay, so of type int. Let's go to the second function. So what do you call this double as? This double is also treated as return type. This double is also treated as return type. If I ask you the question, can you tell me what is the return type of this function? You should be able to tell me that the return type is double. Then if I ask you the next question, what is the name of the second function that you have? You should tell me the name as volume. My question for all of you is, observe, the name of this first function is also volume. The second name of the function is also volume. My dear students, this is what you need to observe. Okay, so moving on. So I have how many parameters? I have two parameters. How many parameters? Two parameters of type double. Of type double. Okay, so what is that I'm trying to calculate here? I'm trying to calculate the area of cone. I'm trying to calculate the area of cone. So what is the formula to calculate the area of cone? So the formula to calculate the area of cone is 0.33 into pi r square h. So this is the formula that you should remember. This is the formula that you should remember. I'm not discussing anything about the formula, but remember the concept. The name of the function of these two functions are same and the parameters are different. That is what you need to remember at this point of time when I am discussing the concept of function overloading. When I am discussing the concept of function overloading. Okay, so fine. So this function is helping me to calculate the area of cone. So then I'll go to the next function. So what is the return type of this function? Double. What is the name of this function? Array, this is also volume. I have already one function whose name is volume, and the second function name is also volume, and the third function name is also volume. What is this? Yes, let's move on. Let's understand it. Okay, so the number of parameters that you need to observe here, one is double, another one is int. I have two parameters, one is of double, another one is of int. So now how many functions we studied now? We studied three functions. The first function name is also double, second function name is also double, third function name is also double, but you need to observe the number of parameters and the type of the parameters are different. The number of parameter here is 1. The number of parameter here is 2. But both the parameters are of type double. Here also I have 2, but both the parameters of type, both the parameters are different. One is double, another one is int. What is that I'm trying to calculate here? I'm trying to calculate the area of cylinder. What is the formula to calculate the area of cylinder? Pi r square h. Pi r square h. Again, I'm not discussing much about this formula. You can depict this concept with the different formulas also, different concepts also. But you need to understand the concept of function overloading. So that is what you need to remember. So fine. You understood that I have 3 functions with the same name but different parameters and also different number of parameters. Let's go to the next function. What is the return type of this function? Double. I have the same thing. What is the name of the function? Again I have volume. Again I have volume. You need to observe here. So my dear students, the number of parameters that I have is 3. Number of parameters that I have is 3, but all the parameters of type double. All the parameters of type double. That is what you need to observe. I'll just give you a quick glance. So I have 4 functions. How many functions I have? 4 functions. All the 4 functions has got same name. All the 4 functions has got same name. The name of the function is volume. Point number 1 to be remembered. All the functions has got different numbers of parameters. Each function has got different number of parameters and the type of the parameters are different. The type of the parameters are different. That is what you need to observe here. That is what you need to observe here. So after this, I'll end the class with a semicolon. I have defined 4 functions. 4 functions name is same but different parameters. So after that I'm ending the class with a semicolon. Then after that my main functions will start. After that my main function will start. So what is that I have given? So I have given clear screen. So what is the use of clear screen, which we have already discussed? To clean the previous output, I am using a function called clear screen. So this is also called as function call. This is also called as function call. I'm calling the function which is already predefined. So why are we calling that function? So this function will clean the screen of the previous output. Okay, whatever I'm executing. So that output I don't want. I want the screen to be very clean. Okay, so I want the screen to be clean. So that is why I'm calling the clear screen. So what is the next line? My dear students, I have fun overload F1. What is the meaning? So remember this fun overload. Okay, so this is the class name. This is the class name that I have given. This is the class name that I have given. I want all of you to just check this. What is the name of the class? Fun overload. So observe here. So this is the name of this class. Okay, so fun overload is the name of this class. So why I'm using the fun overload. Okay, so what is the syntax to create the object? My dear students, I have to write the name of the class and then after that I have to write the name of the object. So F1 is the object that I am creating for the class fun overload. So guys, I am creating one object. So can I create n number of objects? So yes, you can create. You can create 50 objects. You can create 100 objects. Any number of objects you can create. So that is not an issue. So now I'm coming to the main important concept. You need to listen to me very carefully now. So guys, I have 4 functions. All the 4 functions name is volume. All the 4 functions name is volume, but the parameter type and the number of parameters are different. So now, so what is that I'm trying to do in this statement? I'm just trying to call this function. Observe F1. F1 is an object that I have created. Using that object, I'm trying to call the function volume. Now the compiler will get confused which function to invoke because I have 4 in the same name. So how do I differentiate among these 4 functions? So now it will check the name. Name is same. So what is the next option that the compiler has got? So the next option that is parameters. What is the next option that I have? Parameters. How many parameters I have? I have 1 parameter. It will check. So all the functions. So which function has got only 1 parameter? So that function will be invoked. That function will be invoked. So I have integer, so it will go to the first function which has got volume, which I'll be using it to calculate what? Cube. Okay, that function will be executed. Suppose you can ask me, sir, even if I have one more function with the one parameter, what you will do? So again, the next check the compiler is going to do is, so whether the type of the parameter is same or not. So that is what you need to understand. So this is how the problem is solving in this particular point of time. What is the second one that we have? F1 dot volume. So my dear students, how many parameters I have? I have two. It will check what type of parameters I have. So my dear students, I have double. So which function will be invoked? So it will invoke the function which calculates the cone. How it will invoke? Because it will check the number of parameters and it will check the type of parameters. Which function has got two parameters and of type double? So that function will be invoked, my dear students. And the next function call that I have is f1.volume. Again, I have two parameters. So you need to understand here. So again, here I have two parameters. So volume has got two parameters. I have two functions having two parameters. Yes or no? Yes. How this problem will be solved? Based on the type of the parameters. One I have double and one I have integer. So my dear students, cylinder function will be invoked by this statement, by this function call. And what is the next one that I have? My dear students, I'm passing three parameters of type double. So which function will be invoked? The function which will calculate the cuboid will be invoked. You need to understand one thing. Sir, I have to call the functions. Yes, if I want to call the function, I should use the name of the function. Suppose if I have more than one function with the same name, how can I solve? You need to remember, I will be solving this problem by checking the number of parameters, point number one, point number two, and also I will check the type of the parameter. Then only that particular function will be invoked. This is the concept of function overloading, my dear students. This is what you need to understand with respect to the function overloading. You will get a question to answer or to write a program. Explain the concept of function overloading. Okay, so you should be able to write a program, okay, which is having the same name for all the functions whatever you are taking, but different parameters. So remember, this is the main important point to be remembered whenever you are discussing about the function overloading. My dear students, I have two more concepts in this chapter. So that is inline function and friend function. It's very simple concepts. If you remember, if you understand inline function and friend function, so 5 marks is yours. So you have friend function, you have inline function, and you have function overloading. If you understand these three concepts, 5 marks is in your pocket. See you in my next session. So till then, take care. Bye bye. Thank you.